what you can control to get your ex back. That's what this episode with 35-year-old Adele is all about. She fell hard for 38-year-old Jules, and she feels out of control because he has distanced himself. If you are in a situation whereby you feel out of control because you are in love and whatever you have done has not worked, this episode is for you. We get to what Adele can control to get her ex back. You will hear missteps that Adele made that we can correct for and control now. I get to the exact wording that Adele needs to use when Jules does reach out to her again. And if you are in a similar situation, your man will be as well, and you want to be ready. Listen here, learn, and level up. Let's get right to this interesting and informative episode with Adele.
I feel like you've gotten me unstuck. I really needed that framework for going forward, and I feel like you gave that to me.
Whatever I've been doing hasn't been working. Might as well try a different strategy. Thanks to you, Paula. I'm glad I found you.
Thank you so much, Paula. I really do truly appreciate you. This was awesome.
Sick of sacrificing or settling in your romantic life? Welcome to Make Him Wonder with Coach Paula Grooms, where women struggling in real relationships ask the expert. Unscripted, unfiltered, understandable coaching conversations to help passionate women succeed in love.
Hi there, and welcome to Make Him Wonder. I'm your host, Coach Paula, a dating and relationship coach for women, licensed social worker, and author of the book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. I coach you to find a potential Mr. Right, get an ex back, or grow an existing relationship with a man you truly desire, and learn how to inspire his continued interest for the relationship of your dreams so that you level up to the complete commitment you totally deserve. My guest today is 35-year-old Adele, who has been in a tumultuous relationship with newly divorced dad, 38-year-old Jules. Adele says she wishes she had found my work earlier, as she did the first introductory date all wrong by sleeping with Jules. The two then started full on, with Adele becoming anxious and talking about the relationship. The pace and intensity caused Jules to break up, stating that he wasn't ready to be all in. They have since gotten back together only to break up several more times. It's been over a month since the last breakup, and Adele wants to know where she goes from here. She is still very much in love, but being apart physically has helped her gain a bit more clarity and focus on herself. Adele comes on Make Him Wonder today to get my advice on whether she should be waiting for Jules to be ready to marry again, or if she should completely move on. Welcome, Adele.
Hi, Paula. Thank you.
You're welcome. I understand that there's a lot of backstory here about the two of you. What do you mean by that?
Yes, so we met on Hinge, on the app, and then we went late dinner, but I had to wait like 45 minutes because he arrived 45 minutes late. I waited, and I was decided either to enjoy my dinner if he came or not. So we laugh about that. He excused himself because it was a lot of traffic, and instantly it was like really fun talking to him. He told me about his divorce. He was 10 years into a marriage. She was the one who break things. He has two daughters, one of 6 years old and one of 4 years old. So I love kids, and for me that's not a problem. So we have a nice dinner, we had a lot of wine, and then we went to a bar, and then we talked, we laughed. It was really, really nice and smooth. And then after that, like, he kissed me, we kissed, and then I think because there was like a lot of wine between, I was like so happy to, the feeling when you have like a connection, and it doesn't matter about how long you meet the people, but how deep you can connect. So I really felt that. He proposed to take an Uber because we are kind of neighbors. He proposed me to drop me off, but then I say, but why shouldn't we continue like the night? So he was really happy, and I was happy too. So we slept together. And the next day we stayed together. We have breakfast. And then I was like, okay, that was a super date, but I was a little kind of afraid because I think when you drink wine, you don't think really much, but it was really enjoyable the first date. So after that, we started seeing each other. But I think that night, the night after we met, I got anxious because I was like, what did I do? Maybe it was too much too soon. So I called him the night after. So we talked because I was like, for me, it wasn't just sleeping around. For me, it was like I really felt like a connection, and then he told me the same. He was glad that I called, so we decided to give it a shot. He told me also that he was building a new business, so he was kind of stressed out. I was like, okay, it sounds nice, but then I didn't hear from him about 1 week, and I got me really anxious, and then I wrote to him, what's going on? If you want this to work, we should communicate. So he called me, he excused himself, and then I felt like, when you feel like the energy changed, I was like, maybe I'm overthinking this. And then after like a month, suddenly he called. He was like really decided, and he said, oh, Adele, I really like you. You're wonderful, but I think I'm not ready for the really big commitment, so I prefer to concentrate myself on the business and my kids. Maybe this is too much for me, so I wanted to, maybe even if I don't want to break up, maybe it's best to break up right now because I don't have the space for this. So I was really shocked, but I respected. I said like, okay, because I felt he was already decided. It was not a discussion. So I was shocked. I told him like, okay, I didn't know that you felt that way, but okay, I respect. So goodbye. That was a phone call. And then he wrote me like a sweet message saying, I'm really sorry. You're wonderful. I really hope that we can see each other maybe in a while. I'm really sure we will see each other like, I don't know, maybe later, who knows, life or something like that. So it got me really confused because on one hand, he's breaking up because he's like, oh, I cannot do this. But on the other hand, he sent me this message saying like, yeah, see you maybe after or something like that. So I wrote back something like, hey, maybe we're meant to be together, or maybe we will meet somebody better and sweeter than the two of us. And that was it. I erased his number, and then it was the holidays. I was hoping to receive a message or something, but since I erased his number, I knew that I wouldn't write to him. So he reached out, I think 2 months after, saying happy holidays and something really light, but I don't like small talk. I'm really into deep conversation, or I don't know, reaching out for something. So I told him like, hey, thank you for your message. And then I think I sent him like an audio message saying thank you for your message. I don't do small talk just for small talk. Maybe we could grab a bite and just see each other. And then he took 1 week to reply in an audio. Oh no, 1 day to reply to that in an audio, also saying he was happy to hear my voice, hoping everything was fine. And then he said, do you think it's a really good idea that we see each other again? And then I replied in an audio saying like, I don't have all the answers, but I know that I prefer to live and experience life than to be surrounded about what if. But if that's too much for you or you're not up to it, that's okay. And then he replied a week later saying, I'm sorry, I was busy with work. but why don't we catch up because I have coffee at my apartment or something like that, because he's like really funny. And obviously I was happy and laughing because he wrote me a lot of messages saying he missed me, he missed being with me, but nothing about the relationship or where we're going, just a bunch of message like I miss kissing you, I miss being with you. So I was flattered and a little surprised to have this kind of declaration. So I called him and told him, like, what does this mean? He told me, hey, I really missed you. I don't have all the answers, but I know I cannot forget you. So I was like, I don't like talking to the phone. I prefer to see each other. Like, I think this is dumb if we miss each other, and I don't know. It's not logic for me. So he told me, like, okay, I have this afternoon free. Don't you want to come and we can talk? And I was like, okay. So I went to his place, and it was funny because I arrived and he wanted to kiss me. And I was like, no, we are not kissing. Like, I know I came here, but we came to like talk. And then he told me he missed me, that he wasn't able to forget about what we live, and he know it's his fault that we broke up. But he didn't said let's give it a shot. He just was confused, but he missed me. So then after he kissed me, then we had sex again. And then I think I was afraid of pushing the label of the relationship because I missed him so much before, and I was so shocked that it ended. So I was like, okay, let it flow. I don't know what to do. And we started seeing each other. He made dinners, and since his daughters are one week in his place and 1 week on the mom's place, so sometimes we see us late at night, or sometimes I see him during the week. And then after like I think 3 months, a friend of mine sent me like screenshot about a Bumble guy who had his name. And she asked me, like, is that your guy? And it was him. So I was shocked because I never thought like he was on the dating or dating someone else. Or for me, it was clear that we care about each other, and that's it. I think I was naive because now I know that if you don't ask, or you don't have to assume something, but anyway, you learn when you do mistakes. And then I confronted him by message saying something like, hey, a friend of mine sent me this. I didn't know you were on Bumble and you wanted to date some other people. So if is that the case, I don't like to share. I don't have the heart to share you with other people. So if you want to do that, but I prefer to stop here. So he replied saying he was sorry that I found out like that. He didn't want to date another people, but he totally understands that I want to stop this. That it made him really sad, but he understands. And then I didn't reply for a week because I was mad, but at the same time I didn't have the talk of exclusivity or something like that. So I was like, okay, it's also my bad. And then after a week, he wrote me like a big message saying, I'm really sorry. I really want to see you again. Please, like, what we have is really sweet. So I waited like a week to really calm down and really think what's going on. And then I told him, like, I don't want you to feel pressure to be like in this relationship or in this connection if you don't want to be in this connection. Like, feel free to do whatever you want, but I didn't like that I found out things. So then he called me, he told me, let's talk, let's see each other. So again, I went to his place because he has busy schedule, whatever, I don't know. I went to his place, we talked. I said to him, I can date whatever guy I want. Maybe he will be smarter, less complicated, or I don't know, handsome. But I know that we have this connection. We had deep feelings for each other, and I don't know, I think this is real. So that's why I think I want to give it a shot, but I cannot be the only one. So he told me that he really thinks that we have this connection, and then he doesn't want to lose me. So let's be like things slowly but surely, because he doesn't want to lose me. So that was it. But I think now that we have seen each other like the same way, like once a week or once something like that, but sometimes he disappears, like he takes space, and he tell me like, I'm with this boat trip with my friends, I'm sorry I haven't been able to send you a message or to call you. So there's always this dynamic of I'm sorry, I'm busy, I'm sorry, but these big messages. So every time I'm like, you don't need to be sorry, you're like, do whatever you like, but I don't like this dynamic of you being sorry, because I don't think it's nice. So we were in this dynamic, and I found out your YouTube, and I started to learn from you, and I was like, I did all the things wrong, all the dating, when you say the time to meet and what to do and how to behave, right? So I started to listen to the podcast, and I started to listen to the YouTube, and I was like, if this was an exam, I did all wrong. So I was like, okay, I have a lot to learn, because I think I didn't put myself into a good place. And I really feel like even though I know he's a really responsible guy and really sweet, and we have this connection, I really don't like that I cannot say no to him. I'm like, because I think I'm afraid, say, hey, I can be comprehensive, but I think this is too much. Like, it's always me missing him, or it's always me saying, okay, it's not a big deal, And then I started to learn and re-listen to the podcast to really understand the deep meaning of men and women, and to understand why I'm doing this, like why I feel so not happy. I mean, I'm happy because I like him, but I'm not happy of my version with him. So then the last time we saw each other, it was because I think I give myself an excuse and reach out, and I was like, I miss you. I know that I was supposed not to reach out, but I reached out, and then he told me like, yes, we can see each other, but then I'm leaving for a wedding, and we can see each other. I'm packing, so we can see each other, but I'm leaving tomorrow. So again, I said, like, between seeing him or not seeing him, I was like, okay, let's go. So I went and see him. We had really nice time. We played cards. We danced. Like, we talked. We even talked about, marriage. He asked me if I want to marry, how would it be? How many, what's my plan? So I told him. Then he told me, when he had his marriage, he wanted a small wedding, but he had, a really big wedding. So I told him, okay, you had a big wedding. I'm not interested in the wedding. I'm interested in the marriage, in the family, in the after the party. So I really felt that we went another level that day. But then I asked him, when are you coming back? And he told me, I'm leaving all summer, because after this wedding, I'm going to my parents' house, because he has a countryside house and a forest, and he does work over there. And I really felt abandoned, because I was like, wait, if I don't ask, you don't tell me. So he was packing for his wedding, and I told him so that means that you don't want to see each other again? And he told me yeah, sure, yeah, why not? I'm like, man, look, how are you telling me this? Like, oh yeah, by the way, like it's nothing. Like it's really hurtful. And he's like, no, I didn't mean like that. And I was like really like in an emotional elevator because I had this wonderful time. We really discussed a lot of things. And then he acted like a teenager, like, hey, I'm doing this and that's the fact. So then he called me an Uber. We started, before the Uber came, we started to talk some more, and he told me like, no, when I come back, let's meet. It doesn't mean I don't want to see you. And I told him like, you don't have to be obligated to do this. If you don't want to see me, like, do whatever you like, be free. Like, I don't do whatever you like. I was like upset because I was like, I don't understand this. So then I arrived home and I was really mad because I think I'm someone who doesn't get mad in the instant. I'm not aggressive. But then I think what happened, and then I got really mad because I really felt like not respected. Like I'm okay if you take holidays, but don't tell me like that. So I called him. It was like 1 a.m. and I said, hey, listen, I didn't like how the things went through. We had the most wonderful date. I had from all the days we have been together and all the times we have been together, this was the most wonderful. But at the same time, it was like so awful. The end. I really felt like, what is this? Like, what's going on? And then he excused himself, and then he started to tell me like the real reason is like he doesn't have enough money or the business is going bad. So the real reason is he's staying in the summer to get help from his parents, and he doesn't have all the business is not going well. So if he wants to offer me something, he can't right now. So I was like, oh, okay, so the real reason is like you're kind of broke or you're like in a heavy moment. And he's like, yeah. Like, okay, thanks for being honest. I prefer your honesty than to be like guessing. But obviously, if you're telling me again all your fears about commitment and telling me I really like you, I love our moms together, but right now I cannot see the future, like a long vision for the future. And then at the same time, I'm telling you this, but I know that you will say to me, maybe I'm not waiting for you this summer and I'm done. And I was like, yeah, I can say that to you, but that's not the point. Like, because I didn't have the heart to say, hey, no, we stop this, or because I don't want to say one thing and do another thing. So I was like, I'm really confused right now. I don't know what to say. Like, what is this? And then we hang out, and then he went to his wedding the day after. I took a picture in that day, really funny picture because he has a dog, and I mean, it was really pretty picture, so I sent him. I know now that I sent him because I wanted attention, and then I regretted. I was like, why you do this? But anyway, I sent him, and then he reached out like a week after saying, hey, what's going on? How's the city? Saying something like this. And I was like, again, I don't like small talk, so I'm like, what's the real reason about you messaging? And do you want to tell me something substantial, or are you just sending me a message for talking for the weather? And then he's like, no, the real reason is that I'm thinking of you. I'm doing well, but I'm thinking of you. So I got really frustrated, and I was like, okay, you're just telling me that you're thinking about me, but nothing more. I really don't feel appreciated for my whole being. Just you miss me. And then he didn't answer. And then I wrote like, okay, maybe I'm being a little passive-aggressive because I'm frustrated because I miss you. And sometimes I think I want to pick a fight, but maybe it's not the best path to being, like, to have your attention. So I'm sorry for that. And then I think it was a week when he didn't reach back after the wedding. I wrote something like, not a poem, but nice words, right? Because I like words, I like to write. So I wrote him a thing saying all the things that I I like between the two of us, like the air and the fire, we're good to each other. And I was thankful for all the experience we had, and I'm thankful that he has always been sweet with all his struggles. So I was like, okay, I admire that in you, so I'm thankful. And the special occasion is that we are alive and we are learning to be alive. So he replied, thank you so much. This is wonderful. I really love our time together. I really love spending time together, making love together. And, it's not about just only sex, but we're good together, like a lot of messages like that. And then I read that and I was like, okay, it's an answer to my text, my poem, kind of poem, but it doesn't say anything more. So I just replied with an emoji heart because I was like, I have nothing to say. Like, the feelings are there, we can be together well, but I think because I did what I did, like all wrong, he doesn't say like, yes, I want this to be really serious or whatever. So that's the story.
Yes, thank you. You say you wrote this poem. You got the answer of what again? Just tell me so I know.
Yes. He told me, like, in his words, the same thing that I told him. Like, we are really good with each other. We spend wonderful moments together, and we make love together really with feelings. And it's not just sometimes, yes, it's wild, but sometimes it's like really deep. And then he told me, like, I love our moments together. I love our conversations. I love everything we do together. Something like that.
And that's it.
Yeah, nothing for me was like, if this was like examination of the religion, like everything's good, but you're not telling me. So what, for me, after I wrote that, I was like, so what's the problem? Like, everything's good. So
okay, because you're coming at this from the female perspective and not understanding it from the male perspective.
Yes.
You say that you have watched my videos, and I think you told me that you listened to my book, which is on YouTube, and you understand intellectually my concepts. But what I'm hearing is that it's been hard to put those concepts into practice.
Yes.
And I'd like to go over this for you so that you understand from an objective viewpoint where things went off course, his perspective, and where you go from here. Because you can have this if you change your approach. Do you believe that?
I want to believe that.
Good. I can tell you with an extreme level of confidence that you can, if you do it in the way I work with clients to do it. And I can also say, if you don't do it in this way, you will not have it. For sure. What's happened for you happens to all women until they are told otherwise, and even not told otherwise, but experience enough with men so that they come to the truth of it in the way I espouse it. And you have come to that point, or you wouldn't be here. In other words, you understand it intellectually. But what happens is that our programming subconsciously is much stronger than our intellect, and it pulls us back to behaviors that hurt us with men. He feels much the same way about you as you feel about him, but the differences in the expression of that feeling, both in word, deed, and wanting to commit, are completely opposite. The puppy principle in my book explains why that is. Do you understand how I can say that he feels the same about you that you do about him, but his expression of it will be opposite in most cases of your expression and desire for commitment?
I don't think I understand how it can be opposite.
Okay, good. Because you have to express that in order for someone like me to be able to help you with it. That's great. And for all my listeners, and even women that have worked with me for a long time have such a difficult time with this. And it is because of one of the 5 most important concepts in my book. Women view commitment as a natural outgrowth of love. Men view commitment as a responsibility, and they override their feelings related to a woman when commitment is what is being asked for by the woman through their decisions. And that's another concept in my book that you must understand. Women relate and make their decisions via their feelings. Men only relate through their decisions and will eschew their feelings due to the responsibility of a relationship. It is the puppy principle at work. No matter how much we love puppies, and we can love them all, just like men love all women to one degree or another, when we are not in the right place in our lives, financially, in all other ways, we are more focused on our career. We don't have the time to put the attention towards a puppy that it needs. We're going to travel. We want to be free of responsibility. We will not adopt a puppy, no matter how much we love it. We will allow for it to get adopted by somebody else. We will forgo our own feelings of love for it, knowing that we can't commit to it and take responsibility for it. Does that make sense?
Yes. I feel once I understood the reading, I really felt like a really puppy who's like, well, okay, you have feelings, but you're not adopting me.
Yes, it's that simple. And here's what I can tell anyone who has experienced what you are experiencing. Once you understand this and then you act from the understanding, you will allow for the man to feel safer to be with you. Now, that's really the difficult place to be in. And how we handle that difficult place, because we women, again, another concept, we love through knowing. Men love through wondering. He's comfortable with the not knowing and letting it go on. Women are not. We need to know that the man is committed and all in. But you, unfortunately, push this to that place well before he got there, and you didn't do the behaviors that we know get a man there.
Yes.
For example, and I want to do this, Adele, simply because it's illustrative of the point and will help you to understand how much he does actually care for you, even though it's going to feel like you did everything wrong. And you even said, I know I made mistakes in the beginning. Here's the beauty of men. They really are on top of time and don't care much about those mistakes when we correct them and show the correction and the continuation of the correction, or the continual use of the behaviors that are corrected. That's the beauty. And why I say you can have this back if you truly want it, but you are going to have to take away the urgency you have to have it locked down and deal with your programming that doesn't have anything to do with him. He is just the adult form of your programming of what love is, and you're living that out. And we won't go into that now, but it's a huge part of it for you that we would have to be working on, along with the behaviors that work for him to feel the most he can feel, and most of all, feel safe. He doesn't feel safe with you. Here's what I mean by that. Under the category of safety are 2 headings. The first is safe, that you are in the Madonna category of Freud's Madonna whore dichotomy. Not my words. This is Freud's concept. It used to be referred to as Freud's Madonna whore complex, but it's been updated and called the Madonna whore dichotomy because it is in every male being to one degree or another. It's not a complex, it just is. And that is that men categorize women into either the category of woman to have a relationship with, she's wife, mother material, or girl just to have fun with. And they connote or put us in the category dependent on how we present in terms of action, words, dress, and behavior. The biggest one is having sex with him because of one of my foundational sayings. What you do with him, he thinks you could do, would do, or are doing with any man. And so when you drink and have sex with a man on the first date, he does not and cannot believe that you do not do that potentially with any man or all men. Now, we know as women, generally speaking, that couldn't be farther from the truth. There was something special about him, about your connection, about your willingness to go down that route. But that's not how the man sees it. So, off the bat, he did not feel completely safe with you in terms of being in the right category for a relationship to be wife and potentially mother to children he already has. That can be rectified. It takes longer, it's harder. The salient point here is that men are all about the pursuit and the challenge to show you that they are worthy of you having sex with them. And what sex on the first date does is take that challenge away. And because men love through wondering, longing, and pursuing, they don't feel as much as they could. What's beautiful here is that regardless of that, he does have the feelings. And I bet you know deep down he does have the feelings, correct?
Yes.
And it's what makes you crazy, because you feel like if he has the feelings, then why doesn't he act from his feelings?
Yes.
Men don't. They act via their decisions. This is what makes a man and not a woman. Women relate from their feelings. You see?
Yes.
So he has the feelings for you. He doesn't feel quite safe. No question about that. But you can help make him feel safe, but you haven't. The second heading under the category of safety is the man must feel safe from your emotional output towards him that he doesn't want to deal with, can't deal with, doesn't understand, doesn't want in his life. To whatever degree, that's the case. So do you see how under the category of safety, you haven't hit the mark?
Yes, totally. Not safe.
But the beauty, again, is that can be changed. You have the control of that, and you can change it. And when you do, he will feel safe. Great.
Yes. I have, a question.
Of course.
I mean, sometimes he tell me oh, I'm sure that guys, you have a line of guys interested in you, the last time we talked. I know that I'm not the only one who would love to be with you, and that get me frustrated, because I'm yes, I mean, yes, sure, I have people talking to me because I'm approachable, but it doesn't mean that I'm interested. And it got me really mad because he told me something oh, I know I'm telling you that I cannot give you maybe right now what you're looking for, but I know when I'm telling you this, maybe I'm risking losing you to another guy. And it really gets me confused, and I'm so you think I'm just leaving this situation for another guy? I don't work like that. It's not that simple, and I don't date guys out of, I don't know, revenge or something like that.
Adele, do you understand what I just told you and now why he feels that?
I understand that I wasn't in the first category because of how I acted. I don't understand how to do the second part of the emotional safety.
Mm-hmm. But you're questioning how he could be wondering about the other guys. You see, this is unfortunate. That's why we cannot, no matter what, go with just our feelings and chemistry at first. This is the only way the man judges us. It doesn't matter what you say, only what you do, because men relate via action, not words.
Yes, okay.
So you must just take it. It doesn't matter that you get angry at it or whatever it is. It doesn't matter because you want him. You want to get him back. You can, but there's a lot of work for you to do to regulate your emotions, like you said. Now, how do I make him feel safe in the emotional realm? You do this in two ways, and I'm going to get to those in a moment. I trust you're enjoying Make Him Wonder and that you're getting a lot of helpful information for the life of love you desire and deserve. So if you're not part of the 80/20 Wonder Club yet, you need to be, because now Make Him Wonder is exclusive, a members-only club to listen to every episode, past, present, and future, in full, all ad-free. The 80/20 Wonder Club is a Make Him Wonder membership that gives you all of seasons 1, 2, and 3 in a categorized list by age and relationship status, and a multimedia library of my content, including my book, Relationship Evals, and my Mechanics of Men Mindset Manual, a weekly action step you can focus on to attract and keep the man of your dreams, and have him committing to you completely in the coming months. Make this the moment you start living as an 80/20 Wonder Woman, because love, like life, is best lived in 80/20. When you do 80% of what works with men, the 20% you don't won't much matter. Join the 80/20 Wonder Club by going to the 8020wonder.club. Don't miss out. Go now to the 8020wonder.club. You and your man will be glad you did. Okay, so Adele, the two ways you have to approach being able to make him feel safe is you intellectually understanding what I've told you about his need to feel insulated and safe from your emotional stuff that is too much for him. As a man, he can only handle a modicum of all that a woman has inside her when she's in love. How you do that is first becoming very regulated in two ways. One, overriding your programming of what love is and how he is tweaking that and triggering your needs and behavior. It might go something like this. So let me ask you, from birth to age 7, what was going on with your mother? Do you have any idea?
I try to really understand, because I know on your podcast the most central part. So I understand that I have this need of closeness because I was born a premature baby. I was 6 months. And I stayed like 15 days in a machine, like incubator, with no contact, only the machines. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really strong. I think that's why I get a little crazy. It's bigger than me. And then my mom and my dad, she found out she was pregnant, but they already decided to get separated. So I think it was a lot of emotions there.
Yes.
I think when I was little, I always felt like when my brothers were there, they were together, and when I was born, they weren't together. So when you think like a child, you're like, okay, the only thing that changes, I arrive, and they are not together, so it's my fault, or something like that.
You got it. Yes, yes. And all of that together is your programmed subconscious way of knowing what love actually is. So to you, I'm not surprised that Jules is the embodiment of that, because he gives you the adult experience of your programming. And your programming is, in the vernacular, simply that you are not safe, you are not wanted, you are not worthy of love, and additionally, you got messages from the outside world when you were old enough to really incorporate language and understanding at about 3 years old, that you were the cause of not only yourself, but your brothers and your mother being abandoned by your dad. Now, of course, that makes no logical sense to us as adults. Yes, but everything a child experiences from the day of birth to age 7 is interpreted, even when there's no language, early on, under the lens of I am the cause of everything in my outer world. Never am I the victim. I'm the cause. And even those first 15 days, yes, not being held by a human, all of that plays into it. So it was nobody's fault. Certainly wasn't your fault. Certainly not your mother's fault. Nobody's fault. Just is. But unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, our brains take in everything subconsciously as not good or bad, just is, and it is our interpretation of it that makes it so. Fundamentally, everything we know that is in our neurological memory bank is also in our subconscious mind. And we can think about our mind as a computer that keeps the program running beautifully. We have a program that's for walking. We have a program that's for talking, for language, for all manner of things that we do without conscious thinking now. Largely it came into play, think of it, walking, talking, language, mannerisms, fears of, say, fire, knowledge of things like that that can hurt us. That's all implanted in our subconscious mind from birth to age 7. Also, what is being implanted is our self-concept, and for the infant through to minimally age 3 or so, even beyond, attention is love, because we interpret it in our baby minds as if we are being attended to, we are worthy of that attention. It's not about the other person giving it to us, it's our worth. So if we are kept from mother specifically in any way, shape, or form, and yours was due to the need to be in an incubator, it still is imprinted, believe it or not, of not being worthy and valued of the human love attention. So you're spot on with that programming, and it is a must that you consciously work on that with tools to override that programming and continue to override it. That is one of the fundamental things that I work on with my clients while we do another thing that's extremely important that helps you stay on track with that, and that is behaving with the man in a way that will allow him to feel safe, and that way he will be coming towards you, which helps you to feel less anxious. Then we add in manifesting, which puts us in a very positive state of mind to know that we can get what we desire and deserve. I truly don't have a lot of question, Anna, about his love for you. As a matter of fact, his caring and desire for you is quite high. It's very high. But if you don't approach it in the right way, you start to erode it and lessen it, not inspire it so that you get more. And that's what's happening now. Does that make sense?
Yes, I started to do in this month the meditations about being worthy and the unconscious, the sleep meditations, because I understood and I wanted to not only understand but do stuff for me, and I felt a change. I felt more secure and more less anxious, right? And that's why I really understood intellectually that I am doing stuff that is beyond my control sometimes. But sometimes I'm like, I don't know, I feel really good, and sometimes when I wrote to him the kind poem and stuff, that's me, right? But that's why I wanted to talk to you, because I kind of feel a little bit lost, because I don't want to just follow the rules, the rules of doing this and that. I really want to understand and change, right?
Excellent. You can. It's simple, but it's not easy. And I have found that it's like climbing a mountain. When we're going up, it's daunting at first. Then we start to get used to it and we're climbing and climbing. But it's still getting to the top that seems a little bit like, am I ever going to get there? You need the Sherpa, which is the person with you, to explain how it goes, understand the terrain, and help you get up to the top in the fastest and easiest way possible. Once you're at the top, coming down is much easier. And that's what my coaching of women to do this, get an ex back, grow an existing relationship, to get the commitment, or even find that Mr. Right through doing online right for it, meeting organically too. But that's what I do so that we get these three pillars together. The mindset, which is your self-concept and programming stuff. Manifesting, which keeps you in a state of, say, high resolution, high vibration, that keeps you knowing you're going to get what you want. And the mechanics of men, which is how you behave in a way that is value-based, 80-20, rules like behavior. Because love, like life, is best lived in 80-20. When we do what's needed to be done 80% of the time with men, then the 20% we may make a mistake or two doesn't matter. You can do this. It takes intention, it takes investment, and it takes understanding that you will not have it tomorrow, but you're working towards it coming very soon. In this way, when women work with me in my Lure Him Back program and do the coaching, typically I can tell them, once I've heard their story, like I have heard yours, and I assess him and his actions as much, if not more, than assessing you and yours. And what I can tell you here is that if you do this, you have a tremendous chance of getting what you want and going the distance. Now, I can never guarantee that 100%. But I can tell you this, like I've told many a client, what I can guarantee is if you don't do this work and you continue down the path you're on, you will not have it. And I can guarantee you that. That sounds harsh, but it's the truth.
I know that what you're saying is true. It will repeat itself if I don't heal this or change.
Yes, that is true. It will. If it's not with him, it will repeat itself with someone else. Because it's not him. That's what I'm saying. I assess him as much, if not more, than you to be able to tell you what I'm telling you. Because if you were to have given part of the story very differently, for example, not even too much difference, but slept with him on the first date and I didn't hear from him again. I reached out. Again, we slept together. I didn't hear from him again. He won't answer my texts. He doesn't call. He reached out to me. I went right back. You see, that's a very different guy than what I'm hearing. Mm-hmm.
And since you tell us, try not, don't reach out, when I watched that video many times when I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
He reached out saying, hey. So I was like, okay, this works. Like, this is not just, I don't know, some other coach saying you, like selling you a recipe. This really works. But then it's hard if I don't have the proper structure. Like, I really feel like I'm happy that I don't have the need to reach out. That's why I just replied with a heart emoji, because I was like, I think it's best not to say anything because there's nothing to say. Like, okay, the feelings are there, clearly.
Exactly. Yes. You can set this right. You need to make him wonder. And you can do that simply. It's not easy, but it is simple. And you exercise the not reaching out, and you saw what something so simple did. But that wasn't easy not to reach out.
That was really, really hard because everybody tells you, but why? So, like, friends and everybody is like, why? Why don't you reach out? And I'm like, no, there's a reason beyond.
Yes, women have been sold a bill of goods, unfortunately. We have been led to believe that being equal is being the same. And unfortunately, in love, unlike other areas in life, it so doesn't work in any way, shape, or form. But friends and family who have also been fed this, they want to make you feel better. And when you go to them and you are giving your pain and your frustration, even anger or being upset, they want it to be assuaged. And so they'll just say, well, reach out. But it doesn't fix it. It typically, I would dare say 9 times out of 10, will absolutely make it worse. You might be assuaged in the moment and feel relieved in the moment, and maybe you will even get an answer, but it's not going to get you what you want. If it worked, I wouldn't be here. It doesn't work, unfortunately. I wish that it did. But men are not equipped to assuage our emotions in that way, to handle them. They don't want to discuss them. They want a relationship to work. It's why talking about it is not tantamount to having it with a man, and they will feel put upon, unsafe, and that they don't intrinsically make you happy. And men don't understand this in a way that it would be great if they did. But they don't. And he is confused by you, very confused, because he does believe via your first and initial actions that you could, would, or are with many other men, and why you are doing this in the way that you are with him. We have to unconfuse him, yet still make him wonder. That's tricky, but can be done.
So now, for my sake, I thought it's like begin again from zero, right? Because the one nice thing about not being with him it has been almost 2 weeks that he hasn't reached out. I'm thinking, so now I want to be the wife category or the Madonna category that you said. But I'm afraid that because physically we're like he's really also, he loves hugs and kisses, and I love that also. I'm afraid that I could not resist, right? Like, how do I do that? Or how I behave?
That's what we would need to work on in a very big way, because if you do not change your approach, you will not see the change happen in him, and you will not fundamentally change the results you've been getting.
Okay.
You have to make a choice. Do you want to continue down this road and get what you've been getting, or do you want to get the result you want that he will be most happy with over the long run as well?
Yes.
That is going to be a bit of quelling your immediate desires. You see, the only way a man will trust that you are in the Madonna category is to act in the Madonna category.
sounds so simple.
Right. And it is, but it doesn't mean it's easy. So I'm going to tell you how you can start the lure him back approach. This will be set in motion by when he reaches out. You've done a very good job of not being in contact. In other words, you hearted his message and you need to wait until he reaches out. Tell me so that I know. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being absolutely and 1 being likely not at all, where are you on the scale of knowing, give me a number, that he will be reaching out? What number would you give it?
9.
Yes, absolutely. I think we can even tip it over to 10. He will be. I can't tell you exactly when, and I can't tell you how, but he will be. And then you must be ready. We need to ready you with... Wondering what I'm going to tell Adele she needs to text back to Jules to have the best chance of getting to see him again and getting things on the right track? In the rest of this episode, I tell Adele the exact words to use and the approach to take so that Jules feels safe and secure to see her again. And because I want you to get the results you desire with your current or ex, Mr. Right, I invite you to check out the 80/20 Wonder Club, an exclusive membership-only club of the Make Him Wonder podcast, where you'll get 200 ad-free episodes categorized by age and relationship status, plus all new episodes the moment they're formatted and ready to be aired. In their entirety, unfiltered coaching conversations like this one, with all my advice and principles to have you succeeding in your romantic life. The 80/20 Wonder Club also includes my Making Magic with Men Mindset Manual, a video series of mindset and mechanics of men practices for you to do at your own pace. Join monthly and cancel at any time, or save by committing to a 6 or 12-month membership. And not only will you save by committing to more, you'll receive a full coaching intensive experience where you'll be talking to me in a conversation like you just heard. You choose the date anytime during your 12 months, and I'll be answering all your questions on getting what you desire and deserve in your love life. Check it out at the 8020wonder.club and join us, because not only is it the only way to hear what I tell Adele she must do when Jules comes back, but also where you'll get all my ex-back coaching conversations that go into the details of what is necessary to get a man back better and fully committed. Don't miss out on how to make your man wonder in the right way to have the divine right results you desire in your romantic life. Go now to THE8020WONDER.CLUB. That's the 8020wonder.club. You and your love will be glad you did.